All right, it's 5:45 p.m., which means it's time for another edition of BCTV's weekly media roundup, 5:45 Live. I'm tonight's host, Roland Boyd, and I'll take you through the next 15 minutes of a show where we'll get you some breaking headlines on the newly announced plans for SafStor at Vermont Yankee, with documents released just this morning. We'll also talk about the 1,800 workers on strike from FairPoint Communications. We'll head down Main Street to check in there. And we've got plenty of 7-ton summary news, like the Guilford Grain River Bridge reopening, new test standards at Leland and Gray, and a whole lot of calendar items like the Boston Gay Men's Chorus coming to Brattleboro. We'll also talk about the Wyndham Child Care Association's annual Fall into Art fundraiser, and we'll get you an I91 Bridge update, all that and more. We're going to do it in 15 minutes or less, so stick with us right here on 545 Live. Welcome back to this October 17th, 2014 edition of 545 Live. I'm tonight's host, Roland Boyd, and I'll take you through the next 15 minutes into the regularly scheduled 6 o'clock news with a show here where we'll launch right into the headlines and start by talking about documents released just this morning from Entergy Nuclear, Vermont Yankee, outlining their plans to adopt the NRC-approved process of SafStor, which could see nuclear waste, spent fuel, and the Vernon reactor on site in Vernon, just south of Brattleboro, for up to 60 years. Now, this is a highly controversial process that has had many area affinity groups worried for some time, but this is the first real announcement that we've seen that this is the plan that Entergy plans to take. It's a $1.24 billion undertaking. For more on this information, we'll turn it over to Bob Audette's article, which went up first thing this morning on the Reformer's website, brattlebororeformer.com. You can also find it in the paper, of course, as well, and it cites a few other numbers of note here. So, first of all, the nuclear waste we're talking about leaving for another 60 years in Vernon is, of course, all the nuclear waste that's been generated in the last 42 years of operation at Vermont Yankee.
We agreed to provide an assessment of the facility, which essentially is an effort to identify what does the assessment look like, what is it that we think we need to do to complete the decommissioning process. So that study is a first step toward identifying that.
Next up, time to head down Main Street and check in with the workers of FairPoint Communications who are on strike. Now, this includes 1,800 workers for the communications company from across the region who walked out after negotiations that began back in April to maintain several elements of employee contracts, including benefits and fair wages for new workers. We're in flux. These are sticking points that members on the picket lines hope to have resolved prior to taking to a strike, but one that even with negotiations beginning in April has not seen a resolution yet. Time to move on now, and for that, we're going to check in first with our Commons News Report. That's right, we like to head again down Main Street to check in with Brattleboro's weekly independent newspaper, The Commons. Now, you can follow along in an actual newspaper. These hit newsstands and can be picked up for free all around town. They hit newsstands each and every Wednesday, but you can also do what I'm about to do in our fancy split screen here and head to commonsnews.org. Where all their articles can also be found as well, and check in with an Olga Peters penned article entitled Feds to Retreat, Call in Third Party. Got a subtitle, CMS Notes Failures in Compliance but Issues an Improvement Agreement and Maintains Funding. Now, the quote here will start right at the beginning of the article. After a series of violations followed by improvements, followed by more regulation dings on the part of the Brattleboro Retreat, the Federal Healthcare Regulatory and Funding Agency Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, CMS, has told the psychiatric hospital that it's time for a third-party review. Now, based on an exit interview with surveyors from the Vermont Division of Licensing and Protection that acted on behalf of CMS, the psychiatric hospital remains out of compliance with one or more conditions required to maintain CMS funding. So they're not actually going to lose this funding yet. They do have a chance to remedy it. For more on some of the numbers and more of the specifics, you can find the article again at commonsnews.org. All right, time to move on in our own headlines here. And for that, we'll head next to Guilford, where drama surrounding the Green River Bridge has continued as the town faced challenges having to halve the load capacity of the bridge, eventually close it entirely, while a study was commissioned to find out if a replacement bridge was needed or if the structural integrity of the bridge could be preserved using the current structure.
The issue with weight is whether the bridge is, say the bridge was posted for 8 tons. You know heavier vehicles go over it, and the bridge can carry it. But the question is it safe? And our answer is no. There's some reserve capacity in there. So yeah, if you go 8.1 tons, the bridge is going to collapse. I mean, that wouldn't be safe. But what you sort of don't see is members being broken underneath, the rack of the bridge, the sweep of the bridge. Some of that is being caused by overloaded vehicles going through the bridge.
We could have started in 2009, and when we were first looking at the bridge and the bridge, all the studies about the bridge. Unfortunately, every study that we received, done by experts about the bridge, said it was structurally sound. We have got to gather information. We just don't have the option of saying, let's put this temporary bridge here, let's get on it stat. Let's do this now, let's start today.
Now, after a special meeting convened earlier this week, this Tuesday morning, in fact, following the Columbus Day holiday, the board did announce that the bridge would be reopened to regular traffic. However, the load capacity for larger trucks still remains in flux. All right, with that, next up on our list, we'll stick in Brattleboro for municipal coverage. And talk briefly about the Brattleboro Select Board, as they announced last week that they would consider separating the police station and fire station upgrades that have proved so controversial as part of the $14 million project. Here's David Gardenstein talking about his feelings on that matter.
It may be that what we do is we consider moving forward by committing to Central and then go back to the drawing board for the police.
Of course, the latest headline from that is that the committee commissioned by the municipality to look at the police fire upgrade project has asked the select board to hold off on its decision to separate these two projects out and to hold off scheduling a special town meeting to discuss the issue until further information can be gathered. All right, next up here, check in briefly with some area events coming up. But first, our I-91 Bridge update. That's right. Time to check in with some of the construction going on at the I-91 Bridge in Brattleboro. Now, traffic goers may have noticed some progress being made on the replacement span. Now, the new project does include a single span bridge as opposed to a two-span bridge, currently utilizing the single span of the remaining what was southbound bridge, which now runs north and southbound traffic while construction continues. We've got some footage here of where the project is at the moment, and we'll keep going with these updates as time progresses. You can find written reports on the updates. They're all posted at ibrattleboro.com. All right, time to move on and talk area events. As promised, we'll start by talking the Boston Gay Men's Chorus as they get set to present a very special concert on November 1st at 7:30 p.m. at the Latches Theater in Brattleboro. Now, this is the first time the chorus plans to appear in Brattleboro, and all the proceeds from the concert are going to help support the Brattleboro Retreat's LGBT program, a program that opened in 2009 and has since had over 2,300 admissions.
I know that there are stories about gay people's lives. We sing all the stories of our lives. To me, every performance we do is different.
We make a significant difference in people's lives in everything that we do. And we learn every day from our patients, every day. Every day we become better. Every day we learn how to experience another person's life and help give them voice.
That's Brattleboro Retreat President and CEO Rob Simpson talking at a special press conference held earlier in the fall to discuss the Brattleboro Retreat's LGBT program and the subsequent benefit concert. All right, now speaking of events, there's one going on tonight at the All Souls Church in West Brattleboro from 5 to 8 p.m. It's the Wyndham Child Care Association's Fall Into Art annual auction and fundraiser. It includes music, food, family-friendly fun, and much more. And you can bid on art items. Ones created by children in the Wyndham Child Care Association's area programs, like their Sprouts program, and then also area artists.
Music, it's really fun. We haven't talked about how fun it is, but it's not just a silent auction, but we have live music, Jazzberry Jam, is playing, and Wyndham Wines will be there with a cash bar. Vermont Country Deli is going to cater it. We always do a children's activity, so it's family friendly.
Again, All Souls Church, 5 to 8 p.m. in West Brattleboro tonight. So it's actually already going on as we speak, but still plenty of time to head out there and check that out. Still a few things for us to check out here on 545 Live. We're going to check in with weather, courtesy of BUHS TV, the high school's morning news advisory broadcast crew. First, let's find out what's in store for this weekend's weather.
Saturday, it's also going to be sunny, high of 68, low of 57. Pretty nice. What do you call a carnivore who studies the atmosphere? A meteorologist.
Well, that does it for another edition of 545 Live. We'll check in with you next week, Friday, 5:45 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on BCTV Comcast Channel 8. In the meantime, thanks for watching.
The Boston Gay Men's Chorus creates musical experiences to inspire change, build community, and celebrate differences. I don't think there is such a thing as gay music.